summary? You think? I mean, we are in the face, but it's behind the team, at DOT who do all the work. So I always appreciate the great job, that the men and women been doing at DOT for so many years. Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Danis Rodriguez of the New York City Department of Transportation. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today to celebrate this milestone for New Yorkers, and most important, for Vision Zero. The 3E, which is the first E of engineer, redesigning danger intersections to make it safe for everyone, for pedestrians, for cyclists, and even for drivers. The second E, which is about the educational, being sure that everyone have to know that we have to share the streets, that the street doesn't belong only to those individuals who own vehicles, but the street is a public access that belongs to everyone, especially for pedestrians and cyclists. And the 3E is about enforcement. So after we do the redesign work and then we do the educational one, so we want to be sure that all New Yorkers play by the rule, and they should know that it is a responsibility of everyone for drivers to look for pedestrians and cyclists, for cyclists especially these days with the e-bike and the scooter and the mopeds, for them also to look for pedestrians, especially for senior citizens and children, and for pedestrians also to do our part. But at the end of the day, it is drivers, the one that has the big responsibility, because they are the one who are behind the wheel, or we are the one, even when I drive too, that are behind the wheel, with the object that weigh tons. So it is so critical for us to understand that the 3E of Vision Zero is not just the 3 letters. It's about a big policy that brings all New Yorkers who care for the safety of everyone. Today we're standing right of what used to be known as the New York City's Boulevard of the Death. But New York City DOT has put in the work to dramatically improve safety in this area. Since now Borough President and myself, as 2 former council members, as we were there in 2014, and we work with Commissioner DOT, and most important with the advocate. All of us are here standing right in this location with the commitment that New York City should be now should be a place not to have only the Queens Boulevard of Death, but not to have any street that unfortunately became location where drivers, cyclists, especially cyclists, and pedestrians, they're losing their life. Since we started this remarkable work here with the life-saving redesigning in 2015, we have seen 68% decrease in traffic deaths. Again, 68% decrease of traffic death and 35% drop in injuries. Yes, because all the 3E of Vision Zero. These aren't just numbers. These are not just numbers. These are real people. They could be our friends, our loved one. They can be our neighbor who are alive today or who didn't suffer life-changing injuries, all because of how this street was redesigned. So I'm proud to say that Queens Boulevard is not the Boulevard of the Dead anymore, but the Boulevard of Life. Filing the gap. And we know, as I say, that now Borough President Commissioner Rodriguez, being with a Family for Safe Street, TA, and all the advocates together, fighting for so many years to be where we are today. Filling the gap of the final segments of this transformative redesign marks the completion of safety enhancements along the length of Queens Boulevard, transforming this Vision Zero priority corridor into a multimodal boulevard for 7 miles from Queens Plaza to Hillside Avenue. These are several elements of this redesign aiming at enhancing safety for all road users. Curbside bike lanes to enhance cyclist safety, Pedestrians island to shorten crossing distances while encouraging a slower, safe turns. And additional adjustment to traffic signals timing to allow more time for pedestrians to cross before the light turn green. These improvements are a reminder that streets are not just for cars, but for all people, whether they drive, but especially when they walk or ride their bike. Since the installation of curbside bike lanes along Queens Boulevard, the number of cyclists riding in this route has skyrocketed. In some sections, bike ridership is up to 450%, a big increase. So biking is not a luxury. Biking is a human right. And biking is good for the health, it's good for the economy, and it's good for the environment. And that's because if you build it, cyclists will come. So those who always ask about why are you doing those bike lanes at Dykeman, why are you doing this bike lane in these other places, because if we build the infrastructure, family will know that it will be safe for them to ride the bike with their children. When we build safer and healthy streets, we see New Yorkers living safer and healthier too. All New Yorkers from all walks of life deserve safe connections and transportation options. No one should have to feel like they are putting their life at risk to cross a street in their own neighborhood. If we can achieve a 68% decrease in traffic fatalities using just our short-term toolkit, paint and plastic, imagine what we can achieve when we bring capital improvements to corridors like this. Yeah, this is our, right? And you know that this is not just word, this is action, right? That all of us being pushing and being accomplishing together, which is exactly what we are going to do here. Building on this success, New York City DOT will soon start the next chapter of Queens Boulevard's remarkable transformation. The agency will use $23.7 million in federal funding and invest $70 million to take this design to the next level. We will be upgrading the section of Queens Boulevard we first redesigned in 2015. At that time, 2 council members were there at City Hall. From Roosevelt Avenue to 73rd Street, with concrete improvements. That means the painted bike lanes will be built up with a curb, and that many of the other painted elements will be built with concrete. This funding will be supplemented by another $1.5 million in capital funding from my great friend, Queens Board President, Donovan Richard. A big applause, and thank you. And Council Member Julie Warren. So we thank them. So we thank both of them for their commitment to safe streets as well. The improvement will include reconstructed, expanded median with a continued raised pedestrians mall and grade separated bicycle path. Reconfigured slip ramp to enhance safety by reducing crossing distances and create calmer, more predictable driving behavior. Improving bus stop accessibility to all bus stops. Adding new lighting, public seating, and landscaping. We're thrilled with the progress we have made so far and look forward to continue our work to deliver a safer, healthier Queens Boulevard. This project lives in the breath thanks to the work of New York City DOT, the DOT dedicated staff. Thank you to the numerous staff that helped deliver these life-saving improvements. So I want to thank all my staff at DOT for the great job that you do. Thank you to research, implementation, and safety and educational, to the Queens Borough Commissioner's Office, geometric design, borough engineers, signals, parking, and especially in capital, and to my first Deputy Commissioner, Margaret Fujoni, who oversees all my 6 operations at DOT, and Eric Victim, who is in charge of planning at DOT. 1 minute en español. Hoy estamos aquí, es un día muy importante, anunciando que estamos llegando al final de terminar el trabajo de Queens Boulevard, una avenida que era conocida como la Avenida de la Muerte, pero comenzándose ese trabajo hemos llegado en el día de hoy de convertirla en una avenida de la vida, una avenida que celebra que todos podemos convivir, que las carreteras no son solamente los que tienen vehículos, sino que también la carretera, como la hemos rediseñado aquí, pueden ser lugares donde las personas que caminan estén seguras, los que anden en bicicleta también estén seguros, y aún aquellos que andan en un vehículo también están más seguros. Hoy estamos anunciando de que al mismo tiempo que estamos terminando este trabajo, comenzamos entonces a cambiar algunos de los elementos que implementamos en el 2015 para asegurarnos de que los peatones tengan más tiempo cuando crucen, asegurándonos de que hagan islas de peatones para que aquellas personas cuando cruzan la avenida, especialmente las personas mayores, tengan los espacios para poder descansar y darle más tiempo a los peatones cuando el semáforo le cambie a verde, a que ellos todavía puedan cambiar. With that, now let's hear from Borough President Donovan Ritchie.
Thank you, Adonis, and what a much better Tuesday it is this morning, if you ask me, afternoon. And it certainly feels like a therapy session being here, but it's all good. We got work to do on the local government side. And let me start by thanking Adonis and his staff, Commissioner Rodriguez, who talks about 2014. I had hair back then, but it's been an honor to work with him on getting a lot of these projects going across the borough. And today is really indeed a great afternoon for Queens as we celebrate the completion of the transformational redesign of Queens Boulevard. Oh, you know what? I need that little muffler thing. All right, that's what that is. All right, here we go. We're going to fix that, see? The DOT needs any additional staff. But in all seriousness, it was what was known, as the commissioner alluded to, as the Boulevard of Death has now been completely transformed, and I know we have a lot more work to do, but I really want to acknowledge the families who I see we're joined by Asif's mother, someone who was lost on this boulevard. And we do this work for them because every time we show up to a visual, we say that their deaths should not be in vain. So today is really a great day for the families. Not a great day, but a time to reflect on the lives that were lost, because it's never a great day when you think back on the memories of deaths that really could have been preventable if we had forward-thinking administrations who took bold approaches in redesigning, like Commissioner Rodriguez. So all of these improvements are going to go a long way toward preventing the kinds of tragedies that earned this busy thoroughfare its unwanted nickname. And there have been far too many tragedies along this boulevard. And each death that has occurred here has snuffed out a promising life far too soon, and has caused tremendous pain for the loved ones of those lost. We don't want any more tragedies to happen here or any other part of Queens. Every New Yorker, no matter how they get around town, deserves to travel on safe streets. And yes, shared safe streets. Thankfully, this redesign of Queens Boulevard has made the roadway much safer than it ever was in the past, so much so that drivers, pedestrians, and bikers can finally feel confident that they can use this important roadway without fearing for their lives. But our work to improve traffic safety is never done. We got a lot more work to do. We're focusing also on the North Conduit and South Conduit as we speak with the Department of Transportation as well, which is probably the new Boulevard of Death. And this is why I look forward to seeing the implementation of the next phase of Queens Boulevard's remarkable transformation, which will begin soon. I, of course, want to thank my partner in this neck of the woods, Councilmember Julie Won, who has not been here with us today, who's not here with us today, but who has been a firm advocate in ensuring that I use my wallet in her district as well. Let's give it up for her. She has not been shy. This work, of course, the next phase of this work will make this section of Queens Boulevard even safer than it is today. And that's important because even one death or serious injury along this roadway is too many. On behalf of all 2.4 million residents of the World's Borough, I thank everyone who made this redesign of Queens Boulevard possible. I look forward to coming back, certainly, to see the completion and cutting a ribbon together, each and every one of us. And let me thank all the advocacy organizations. Thank you to TA, I'm going to mess up everybody, but to all of the organizations who do this work every day, who do this advocacy work, who are not being paid, as people say. They do this work out of the love of their heart to preserving and keeping people alive across this borough. Thank you for making sure that you raise your voices, and we continue to raise our voices to make sure that every part of Queens is safe. With that being said, congratulations. Let's keep on fighting. Local government is more important than ever. Thank you all.
Thank you, Board President. Let's hear from Dan from the office of Nidia Velázquez here. Concepcion.
Thank you, thank you. I'm from Congresswoman Nidia Velázquez's office. Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. For too long, Queens Boulevard has been extremely dangerous, particularly for pedestrians, as we've seen with too many lives lost. Our condolences go out, but what's more important is that we take action in making our streets safer. So from Congresswoman Velázquez, I want to thank you and your team for everything you've done to make this Boulevard of Death actually a Boulevard of Hope. And when we take our lives in our hands when we cross the streets and we see that protected bike lanes, parking protected bike lanes, can make shorter crossing distance for pedestrians, make safer turns, so that pedestrians are less at risk when crossing the street, and we can actually slow down the street and give the street a little bit of a road diet. So with the implementation of this final redesign of Queens Boulevard along the 7-train viaduct, pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists alike can more safely navigate. So we want to thank you to DOT and all the advocates here today for being partners in this effort to make our streets safer, and also want to reiterate that although this is a different Tuesday than the one we had this past, there's still a role for the federal government to play when it comes to investing in safer streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's hear from Nick Gulora, Chief of Staff of Councilmember 1.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Rodriguez. My name is Nick Gulota. I'm the Chief of Staff for Councilmember Julie 1. She's presently at City Hall with the rest of our city's legislative body talking about how they're going to respond to the results of last Tuesday. So she couldn't be here today. I have a brief statement. On behalf of the 26th Council District, we are extremely grateful to stand here to announce the completion of this final phase, this part of the final phase of the city's life-saving redesign of Queens Boulevard. Everyone here knows that Queens Boulevard used to be called the Boulevard of Death. Some of us lost friends here. I lost a friend on Queens Boulevard. Some of us, like Lizzie Rahman, who's here, lost her son on Queens Boulevard. Many of us have been working on this project for over a decade. I know I can see some folks here, Laura from Transportational Alternatives, Ross, Jason worked with me in the city council and the previous council member's office, has been fighting for this, both as an individual. It's personal to so many of us who have done this work. And I think today we really need to thank the advocates, all of the neighborhood residents who came out to meetings, who volunteered their time, who put in the real work to change Queens Boulevard, to make it the Boulevard of Hope. These new crucial safety improvements, including curbside bike lanes, pedestrian islands, and adjustments to traffic signal timing, will ensure safety for everyone using our streets, as well as encourage alternatives to car transportation as we combat the environmental effects of climate change. And while we celebrate the end of this long struggle, or nearly the end of this long struggle, to transform Queens Boulevard, we know that our work is not over. Since Councilmember 1 took office, there have been 70 crashes along the stretch of Queens Boulevard in her district. So we look forward to working with DOT to continue this life-saving work, and look forward to the rollout of the next phase of this. And I also want to just especially thank Nicole Garcia and her team. Nicole has been such an incredible force to get this project forward. Has been someone to collaborate with in government. We've strategized over community board meetings for over a decade. We've talked about getting buy-in and speaking to local stakeholders. The DOT team not only swiftly implemented this project, but spoke with everybody all up and down Queens Boulevard, including our small business owners, residents, street vendors, you name it. They did an incredible job, and the best is yet to come. So really looking forward to working with them in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Now we will hear from Ross Giannuzzo, Vice Chair of Community Board 12, and then the most important person, who is Lizzie, who is the mother of, unfortunately, a great artist that we also lost in New York City. So after that, then we're going to be doing ribbon cutting.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be able to be here for this great event. I'm here representing Community Board 2, our chair, Anatol Ashraf, who actually was a friend of Asif Rahman. Yes, he was a friend. He could not be here, and so that's why I'm here. But I really want to express our collective appreciation to especially DOT because of the extent of communication back and forth. You know, not all agencies come to the community board, but DOT does. And I'm here today with other members of the Transportation Committee, our chair, Riley Owens, and Laura Shepper, who is chair of Environment. And we can all tell you that we were so pleased when DOT came forth with this design. I have to tell you personally, I didn't think they could pull it off, but they have, and this is exciting, and it's a great thing. Now there's always a period of adjustment. I'm a long-time community resident. I've lived over 50 years in Sunnyside, and thank you. And to see these kinds of changes occurring is beyond belief. I've ridden my bicycle in Sunnyside and in the whole of Manhattan for forever. So this is exciting, and again, I want to thank DOT especially for working closely with us. There will be many adjustments, tweaks, fine-tuning. We know that we have, and right at this 46th Street, and it's not 40th, where they're putting in new elevators. So this is exciting as well. Yes. And that will, that's an important project, but I'm glad that nobody felt that we had to wait until the elevators got in before we could do this, okay? So I'm not really quite saying about the South Outer Roadway, but yes, I am. But anyway, so it's my pleasure to be here and to be joined by Lizzie Rahman. Come on, Lizzie. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Thank you, Borough President Donovan Richards. And thank you, all my friends, those who are here from TA and other organizations. And I must tell you, I have so much to tell you. I don't know where to start from. Okay, I will start from here. 16 years ago, nobody thought of getting a bike lane on Queens Boulevard, but I did. Why? Because I lost my 22 years old, handsome, talented, young son who was riding his bicycle on Queens Boulevard. So when I came and I saw there were no bike lanes, and I said, I have to get a bike lane on Queens Boulevard. At that time, no one voiced it. Okay? No one even wrote about it, maybe thought about it, but I don't know how I got the courage. I knew I wouldn't get my son back, but I knew that it would save people, sons like my son, that other mothers won't go through the pain that I was going. So I didn't know. I was an immigrant and without any resources. But I started writing. I started to communicate with all the law officials, the elected officials at that time. And that thing worked. It took time, but eventually it worked. And now we don't really have the bike lane on that particular place where I lost my son, Asif. But now we have bike lanes all through Queens Boulevard. And, when the first phase of bike lane was completed, people came to me. They told me, Lizzie, we're so happy now. We feel so safe riding our bicycle. And at that time, Queens Boulevard bike lane was dubbed as the safest bike lane in the whole United States. And it was also named as Boulevard of Life, Boulevard of Hope. And it gave us hope. My son lost his life, but it didn't go in vain. Through me, it worked to get something that would benefit the whole new generation years after years. And I think that this bike lane and redesign Queens Boulevard is a model for not only this particular borough or particular area, it's a model for the whole New York, whole United States. And wherever there is a dangerous road, they all should follow this model. And that being said, I must thank all the people through almost 2 decades who worked with me. Some of them are not with us, as life recalled, but some of them are with us, and more will be with us. And I really appreciate all your help in believing in me. Okay? At the beginning, some even elected law officials, they said, it's not possible. It's not possible to get a bike lane. And later on, I was told by some of my supporting friends that even though they supported me, but they had no hope. They didn't think that it would be possible. But, it's being possible. And it can be possible if you just give your all to get something. And I was told that American dream, I didn't really achieve much, but I achieved Queens Boulevard. And, it's possible because we are in America, okay? And I must thank everybody. And Commissioner Rodriguez, even before he became a commissioner, he worked with us. And it's been a long fight. It's been a long walk. And I got some true friends. And I'm really happy that it happened, and it will give you all a safe journey, safe future. And thank you so much. I had more to talk, but I won't take any more time. I'm really happy. Thanks.
Thank you, Lizzie, for being a great New Yorker and for being members of family for Save the Street and, for being the voice or sometimes the voiceless. So thank you. Now we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting, then we come back to respond any question, okay?